So, Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons exist within the same universe, for better or worse, like it or not. And in my humble opinion, much like this video, give it a like, because there are some incredible monsters and incredible storylines in the Magic the Gathering universe that you can introduce into your own campaign. And I wanted to talk to you about one of them that's near and dear to my heart here today. I wanted to talk to you about Phyrexians, or Phyrexians. Phyrexians? They're scary mechanical zombies. Not like the Borg. Nothing like the Borg. Look at these Borg. Boring human shapes. Every one of them is humanoid. There are no cool-looking Borgs. That's just a torso. No, the Phyrexian are more like the creatures in the hit 1999 film that everybody knows, Virus, starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
Drop it!
During a transmission from the Mir space station, something came onto the ship. It took control of computers. It was learning. Learning what? How to kill us.
Somebody welded the engine room door shut.
What is it? High-tech robotics.
Get back!
Now, in order to survive,
It's creating a new life form. What?
It wants us for spare parts.
it must destroy the one threat
Oh my god.
to its existence.
I'm gonna die!
The virus called man.
What's wrong with you? Nothing, no.
What the hell was that?
But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start with what are the Phyrexians. So the Phyrexians were introduced in Magic the Gathering back in 1994. Back long before Magic the Gathering started putting their efforts into Kirkland brand Watership Down, hey, remember 80s movies. After they were introduced, the Phyrexians became this broad, looming threat over the entire Magic the Gathering universe. Basically, a world, planet. Hang on, I'm gonna settle this right now. Alright, so, there's a lot of talk of worlds and no talks of planets, both in Dungeons & Dragons and Magic the Gathering. So, I want you to tell me in the comments below how you think that shores up. Do you think all these various worlds that they talk about are alternate realities or alternate dimensions that you need to travel through portals to get to? Or are they simply planets out there in space and the planeswalking traveling through portals is simply a method of wormhole travel that takes you from one place to another? I want to know where you land on this. Personally, I feel like they're planets. Anyways, back to the story. So, the Phyrexians are a highly organized, hive-like group, and their goal is not assimilation like boring-ass Borg. No, their goal is completion. See, they see all other living beings in existence as imperfect, incomplete. The Phyrexians have the method to complete them by adding cool claws and laser beams and big tanks full of noxious fumes spread out over the terrain. You know, cool shit. So, with their philosophy of completion in hand, the Phyrexians have made it their goal to travel to worlds throughout the universe and spread that philosophy of completion by capturing a bunch of people, taking them apart, and reassembling them with machine parts. It's rad as hell. Just like the 1999 movie Virus. And just like the mysterious alien entity in the smash hit 1999 movie Virus, which everyone has seen and everyone understands the reference of, the Phyrexians are very good at invading new worlds. They can slip in undetected. Completed Phyrexians can take on the original forms of whatever being that they started as. Phyrexian infiltrators are notoriously good at blending in with a native populace. You may find yourself standing right next to a Phyrexian and not even know it until the spikes and tendrils start to come out. So, in a nutshell, Phyrexians are world invaders. They're interdimensional, multiversal, interplanetary world invaders. So, it's not difficult to imagine how they might make it into Faerun, Toril, or whatever homebrew world you've created, and cause some problems and create some neat plot hooks for your next D&D campaign. So what would this look like? Well, it might look a little bit like the hit movie Virus, 1999 smash hit starring Jamie Lee Curtis. But if you want a more exact example without having to watch the movie Virus, which is a good thing that you should do, a Phyrexian invasion would happen in a few steps stages. And the first few stages of that are kind of the perfect place for a low-level to mid-level campaign to kind of encounter Phyrexian. A full-on Phyrexian invasion is probably something that you want to leave for like endgame stuff or like, you know, high level 10 to 20 characters. But hey, it's your campaign. You run it however you want to run it. But anyways, early stages of Phyrexian invasion is information gathering, recon, and infiltration. At the information gathering and recon stages, the Phyrexians are going to be hiding. They're going to be underground. They're going to be tucked away in places where people can't find them. And their goal will be to gather all the information they can about the creatures that reside in this new world. Phyrexians specialize in deconstructing and disassembling the native populations of the planets that they invade so that they can reassemble and perfect them with those beautiful Phyrexian touches of knives and blades and laser beams and whatever the hell's cool, badass Phyrexian touches they want to put on them. So the early stage of the Phyrexian invasion would have them tucked away, hidden away, using their hive mind to construct a base and then abducting a bunch of creatures from the native populace so they could dissect and reassemble and experiment on them. This is a great place for your party to encounter them. Maybe they notice that people are going missing from a neighboring village. Maybe some powerful monster that usually menaces the place has just up and disappeared and they don't know what's wrong or where he's gone. He's been abducted by the Phyrexians. He's being perfected. The next stage is infiltration, and this one's a lot of fun as well because at the infiltration stages, the Phyrexians disguising themselves. They will be becoming religious and political leaders. They will take on the guise of warlords and military leaders. Whatever they can do to gather more groups of individuals and creatures that they can use for parts to perfect more Phyrexians. This is a fun hook because it gives the party a kind of mystery to uncover. They have to figure out who the Phyrexians are, and they have to expose them before they have gathered enough people to kind of create the sleeper cell that the Phyrexians need to kick off their invasion. It also nicely ties into the information gathering portion of this, and perhaps the players discover the information gathering too late, and the Phyrexians are already on the infiltration stage. And then, of course, invasion is portals open up, Phyrexians fly down from space, and all hell breaks loose, and Phyrexians are just snatching up people and killing whoever they don't like. So at this point, you might be thinking, well, Puck, this all sounds really good, and I'm super excited to watch the hit 1999 movie Virus, starring Jamie Lee Curtis. But if I were to put these Phyrexians into my campaign, how would I introduce them? How would I have Phyrexian creatures in my game? There aren't any stat blocks for them. Unfortunately, when Wizards of the Coast decided to introduce Magic the Gathering to Dungeons & Dragons, they did it with boring sets like Theros and Ravnica and Strixhaven, and not the cool sets that were popular when I was young. Well, fear not, my stalwart dungeon master, I've got you covered. In fact, if you go into D&D Beyond, and assuming it's all still there, I don't know, D&D Beyond's up to some weird stuff, and I'm recording this before all the big changes go through. But in the collections in D&D Beyond, there's actually a lot of user-created stat blocks for Phyrexian monsters that you can check out. But if none of that tickles your fancy, it's entirely possible to create Phyrexians from existing D&D creatures and monsters that are out there. It's actually even kind of easy. Basically, all you need to do is take your current existing monster, whatever you want to make. In this case, we'll say it's a goblin. Take your goblin and then apply traits that you would normally apply to constructs or undead. Stuff like can't be charmed, things like immune to poison, fear, paralysis, poison condition, stuff that you associate with constructs. If you look at your average construct in D&D in terms of stat blocks, you'll notice a lot of similarities in terms of what they're normally immune to. Usually not good with psychic damage too. Additionally, maybe maybe put a slight increase, 1 or 2 points to the armor class because they've got some metal plating in there. And then you want to add maybe some extra abilities to fully illustrate how they've been perfected. Stuff like extra blades or saws. The rotating saw attack from the Clockwork Horror, which you'll find in the Spelljammer book, is a good example of something that you could just adapt to any other creature. If you want to take the spell Scorching Ray and just make a single Scorching Ray and apply that as an attack, it's a good thing. Oh, he has a laser beam now. Really, any ray attack that you've seen on other creatures could be applied to your perfected Phyrexian creature, be it paralysis, disintegration, necrotic, light, fire, however you want to slice it. Another thing you could do is just reskin some existing construct creatures to make them Phyrexians in your campaign. A great example of this is the Retriever. Go ahead and Google it up. It's like I'll put a picture up. It's like an insect creature. It has slashing attacks. It has a paralyzing beam. It's immune to all the things constructs should be immune to. And you need adamantite weapons to attack it. You can keep that if you want. And the last method you could use for creating your Phyrexian monsters is simply take an existing construct and merge it with an existing creature. Take all of the abilities and attacks that exist on that and merge it with an existing more mundane creature like an ogre or a troll. And take all the pieces, mash them together, and there you got your Phyrexian. Really, if you have any experience with creating custom monsters, this should be pretty easy for you. And, if you have a lot of experience with it, sky's the limit. There's all kinds of crazy Phyrexians that you can create out there. Do a quick Google search. You'll quickly find that my boys come in all kinds of crazy shapes and sizes and bizarre configurations. It makes a very excellent way to introduce a little bit of existential horror into your D&D campaign when your players come across a creature that was once familiar to them and now has been twisted and modified in such a way that it's become this terrifying construct that threatens and menaces them right now, and is the harbinger of an even larger, more terrifying army that may come to their door if they are not successful in thwarting these first attempts. So those are the Phyrexians. I hope they make their way into your next D&D campaign. These creatures are kind of near and dear to my heart. I really like them. When I first got into Magic the Gathering way back in my high school days, the Phyrexians were kind of the big deal. So of course I have a bit of nostalgia attached to them there, and I was excited to see them come back to Magic the Gathering. I have used them in my campaigns before, and they do serve as an excellent horror creature if you want to have a kind of scary body horror theme going on in your campaigns. Have you ever used Phyrexians in your campaigns? Are you interested in using them in your next one? Let me know in the comments below, or if you have ideas for other Magic the Gathering creatures that you'd like me to break down how to put them into D&D. Let me know down below about that as well. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. And until then, buck out.